Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping this Orioles and Red Sox Game 4. This was the series finale of this series that they played, and the Orioles went out there and got a big 5-1 win over the Red Sox. The Orioles didn't really do well with runners in scoring position, but they were able to just go out there and score runs off of home runs, off of capitalizing off of Red Sox fielding mistakes. They were able to go and score 5 runs this game. The pitching was also excellent during this game as well. That's back-to-back games where the Orioles pitching staff has only given up 1 run each in those respective games. An incredible game for the Orioles. A lot of the stuff that the Red Sox were doing, it was kind of just self-inflicted wounds. Ryan O'Hearn drove in a run and also scored an inside-the-park home run, but they didn't count it as a home run because it was off of some throwing errors by Boston, but still a very cool moment for him. Ryan O'Hearn had an excellent game today. He hit an inside-the-park home run. He hit a normal, regular home run, 3-hit day, perfect game for Ryan O'Hearn. Dylan Carlson also made some incredible plays this game. He had a solo home run in this game, and he also robbed a home run in this game as well out in right field. So an incredible game for the Orioles. That's back-to-back wins for this team. They still remain 16 games below 500, so there's still a lot of work to be done to get out of this hole that they're in. But let's just get right into the game. So, recapping this game real quick, and again, this game ended literally like 15 to 20 seconds ago. I wanted to hop on here, obviously, and get this episode recorded for y'all. The Orioles move to, it should be 18-34 if we do a little refresh. There we go, 18-34 on the season, 16 games below 500. Obviously, this team still is struggling with the season. There's still 16 games below 500, but what's good about this series is that obviously in the first game of this series they lost 19-5. Things looked really bad for this team. But just like the weather in this series kind of bounced back and got cleared, so did this Orioles team. The Red Sox won 19-5 the first game, and then they won 8-4 in the second game. But in the second game of the doubleheader yesterday, the Orioles got a shutout 3-0 win, and then today they were able to win. Yesterday they won 2-1. And then today they won 5-1. Back-to-back games, each of the respective games only giving up 1 run. So it's very big for this pitching staff. That's been the main thing to really talk about with this Orioles team in these back-to-back games is the pitching staff. The Red Sox aren't 100% obviously, but neither the Orioles, so there's really no excuse there. The Red Sox did lose Alex Bregman in the first game of the series, and he is going on IL for apparently a significant amount of time, but the Orioles go out there and do a very good job of taking advantage of the Red Sox mistakes that they made throughout these past 2 games especially. Obviously, when they lost 6-5, that was a heartbreaking game. When they lost 19-5, that game was winnable, and then it just got out of reach. So in the 2 losses in the series that the Orioles lost in, they had the game, they had a lead somewhat late into that game, and then the bullpen just gave it up. But these past 2 games, the Orioles were able to go out and get a win. Very encouraging wins as well. Something that I've been talking about is if the pitching staff has those days where they're doing well, which they've done in the past 2 games, if they go out there and have those games that they're doing well, because every single team is going to have times where their starting pitching staff is going to go on a little bit of like a stretch of either bad or good games. And even with how bad this Orioles pitching has been this season, eventually they're due to have some good starts. And past 2 games, they've had some great starts overall as a pitching staff. But what's been the problem for the Orioles is that they haven't been able to take advantage of those few games, or of those little amount of games that the pitching has been good. But what's happened over the past 2 games is that the Orioles have been taking advantage of the pitching, have been taking advantage of the good pitching, which is good to see. It's encouraging. They haven't been doing this a lot this year, but they get back-to-back wins with their pitching doing great. The offense today puts up 5 runs. They do go 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but they still do get the win. Some defensive errors for the Red Sox. Orioles hit 2 home runs in this game by Ryan O'Hearn and Dylan Carlson. And then yesterday, obviously, the very timely hits late in the game to give the Orioles the lead. So they're playing very good baseball. They're playing winning baseball. Like, this is winning baseball that the Orioles are playing over the last 2 games. And I know it's only a 2-game winning streak. I know there's still a lot of stuff that needs to happen for this Orioles team to even have the thought of competing for the playoffs. Again, there's still 16 games below 500. There's still a lot of work that needs to get done to get back to 500. Obviously, they have to go on a big little run, but it all starts with a winning streak, and it all starts with a good stretch of games, and the Orioles are now officially on a winning streak with a 2-game winning streak against the Red Sox. They haven't been on a 3-game winning streak all season, so if they do go out and win tomorrow in their series in Game 1 against the Cardinals, it'll be 3 wins in a row, and then you can kind of look at things, and we might see some stuff happen there. So the Orioles get a big win today, obviously, going over the offense. The Red Sox actually out-hit the Orioles 10-7 today, but the Red Sox 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The Orioles 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but the Orioles got the home runs, and the Orioles also took advantage of the Red Sox defensive mistakes. The Red Sox obviously making 3 errors in this game that did lead to a couple of Orioles runs. So going over this offense, Jackson Holliday obviously gets the lead off again. He goes 0 for 5. He also breaks his 10-game hitting streak. It's unfortunate. Jackson's been great throughout this hitting streak that he's been on and as a leadoff guy, but he does go 0 for 5 today. Hopefully he can bounce back from this game in this upcoming series against St. Louis. Adley Rutschman goes 0 for 2, and he also has to leave the game early. Adley was catching in this game. A foul ball went back, hit him right in the mask. And we took him out the game because he was a little bit shaken up from that play. So hopefully it's nothing long term. Hopefully Adley is good to go. I think they were saying that they just pulled him out of the game because they just wanted to be precautionary and make sure that nothing bad's happening. So they took him out this game. He probably won't catch tomorrow or play tomorrow, but hopefully he'll be back by Tuesday, and hopefully it's nothing too serious for Adley. Michael Handley comes into the game, doesn't do anything. Gunnar Henderson goes 1 for 2, scores 2 runs, and also gets 2 walks as well. So Gunnar gets on base 3 times in this game and scores 2 runs. The energy that Gunnar Henderson is playing with when he's rounding the bases, when he's in his at bats, when you see him in the dugout, the energy that he's playing with is the energy that we know that Gunnar Henderson likes to play with. This guy is really our leader. He's the leader of this team. Obviously, Cedric Mullins has been the guy who's been the longest tenured Oriole, but Gunnar Henderson is the best player on this team. He is the leader of this team, and this team goes as far as he goes, and he is the leader of this team. The energy that he's been showing is very, very, very nice to see. Obviously, this Orioles team has gone through a lot of stuff this season, and to see that Gunnar Henderson is still going out there and giving it his best effort is always nice to see from your players. And it's not just Gunnar, it's really this entire team. They're staying into it, they're staying positive. They believe in themselves that they can come back into the season and get things back on track. Because, again, as I said a couple episodes ago, there's never been a team in the history of baseball that's been 15 games below 500 and still made the playoffs that same season. So if the Orioles can come back from that, that would be incredible. I think if there's any team that could do it, it's this team because of how much talent we have on offense and some possible guys we're getting back from pitching. Obviously, Colton Cowser's still out. Jordan Westberg's still out. Ramon Laureano's still out with that injury. And then for the pitching, obviously Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez are out as well. So you have injuries for this team, and a lot of key injuries as well, and a lot of everyday players that would be in the pitching rotation. So, there's a lot of really important guys that are still out, and and I've been saying this since the injuries have started, and it's been happening all season, but if the Orioles can just stay somewhat fine, and obviously things aren't really fine right now, they have to come back from a lot, but if they can, start going on a little bit of a run, and then get Jordan Westberg back, get Colton Cowser back, get Ramon Laureano back, and then get Tyler O'Neill back, and then in the pitching, go get either Grayson or Kyle Bradish back. Just kind of come together as a team, and then I believe that they can really make it out of this hole that they're in right now. This team, as it stands right now, even with the injuries, has a ton of talent on offense, and a lot of these guys who are stepping up for players that are hurt, guys like Dylan Carlson, are playing very well. Heston Kjerstad, Dylan Carlson, guys like that are really stepping up and making the most of the moment that they have. And it's always nice to see the depth come in and play a big part. But again, the Orioles are in a bad spot. But if they can just go on a little bit of a run, get some of these injuries back, who knows what the season can turn into, because this Orioles team has the talent to be one of the better teams in baseball. We know this. And that's why the season has been so disappointing, is because we know that the expectations are so high for this Orioles team. But it's just been such an odd season. But there's still a ton of games left for this team. There's still over 100 games left in the season. So we still have plenty of time to come back into this season. But they got to start going on a run, and they got to keep locking in and keep playing the way that they are. After Gunnar Henderson, we're going over to the player of the game, by far, player of the game. Arguably the best player on the Orioles this season. I'm just going to say it. I know it sounds crazy, but Ryan O'Hearn arguably is the best player on the Orioles this season. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson is the best player on the team, but in terms of a player having a great season, Ryan O'Hearn is having an incredible season, not just for the Orioles, but in baseball in general. He doesn't have the home run numbers, but his average has been there. He's come up with very timely, very clutch hits. It reminds me of what Jordan Westburg was last year for the Orioles. Jordan Westburg last year wasn't really that much of a no-name, but he ended up becoming an all-star last season because people started to really recognize who he was. Jordan Westburg obviously last year played a great third base, came up with very timely hits, had a bunch of RBIs, had a really high average. People started noticing. Ryan O'Hearn is a guy who was in Kansas City for a really long time, got cut off the team, got traded for cash considerations to the Orioles, and he has been so good all season for this team. Even in games where the Orioles will lose like 0-3, Ryan O'Hearn's still the only guy out there that might have a multi-hit game, or the only guy out there who even got a hit that game. But Ryan O'Hearn today 100% has his best game of the season so far, which is saying something because he's already had such an incredible year. Ryan O'Hearn goes 3 for 3 in this game, scores 2 runs, has an RBI, has a home run, and also has a walk. So he got on base 4 times, 3 for 3 with hits, 3 hits, 1 walk, has a home run, but he also had a inside the park home run. They're not going to officially count it as an inside the park home run because the Red Sox made an error on one of the throws that could have gotten him out at third. But in the Orioles fans' book and in our hearts, we're going to say that that was an inside the park home run. But they aren't obviously going to call it that because of the error. But Ryan O'Hearn obviously got the home run, went all the way around the bases to home. An incredible game by Ryan O'Hearn. He's been so good all season for this team, and hopefully he can keep it up. His average going into today, I think, was at like a 315, and his average just went up to a 329 on the season. A 329 average, a 419 on base percentage, and a 537 slug. An incredible game by Ryan O'Hearn, man. I can't talk enough about this guy. He's been so good for this Orioles team, and it's someone that I'm really glad stuck around. He's someone who, ever since he joined the Orioles 2 seasons ago, has really came in and just worked hard and done very well. But all that hard work is paying off, especially now when he's having an incredible year for the Orioles and really kind of putting them on their back in a lot of different scenarios. Now going over to Ramon Urias, who goes 1 for 3 and drives in a run. His average is at a 275, so Ramon Urias has also been having a great year as well. Emmanuel Rivera 0 for 4. Cedric Mullins goes 1 for 4. Dylan Carlson, and I can't say enough about this guy either. Dylan Carlson, obviously, this is a guy who has been in AAA for us. We've cut him a few times, brought him back, whatever. Dylan Carlson is a guy who has never really gotten an opportunity to do anything for this Orioles team. Obviously, but he's had some really good moments, obviously, as an Oriole, but hasn't really been able to get it going because, obviously, all the outfielder depth that we have. But with Tyler O'Neill out, with Ramon Laureano out, with Colton Cowser out, Dylan Carlson's been getting a lot of opportunities here recently, and he's been doing great. This game, on the box score stat sheet, he goes 1 for 4 with a solo home run in this game. It was in the 6th inning. It actually got the Orioles' second run of the game. But Dylan Carlson actually made an incredible play in this game where he robbed a home run on a short porch home run in right field. An incredible play. Dylan Carlson is known for his defense. He's known for his amazing defensive ability out in the outfield. He's been great for the Orioles all season in the games that he's played in defense. Offensively, he hasn't been great. Obviously, a 133 average, but he gets his first home run of the season. He made an incredible play in the outfield. Shout out Dylan Carlson, man. He's really stepped up in a big way, especially in these past 2 games. Yesterday, he had a multi-a day. Yesterday he had a multi-hit game, drove in the second RBI of that game as well. So Dylan Carlson has done a great job here recently, and hopefully he can keep it up. Because he's going to keep having these opportunities with these guys out with injury. He's going to keep having these opportunities, so hopefully he can keep it up. And then Jorge Mateo gets the start in left field. He goes 0 for 4. But, this Orioles team offensively didn't do necessarily amazing. I mean, they went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but they were able to, again, capitalize off the Red Sox defensive errors. They were able to hit the 2 home runs compared to the Red Sox 0. And they did their thing. They did their job. But the thing that really won the Orioles this game was the pitching. The pitching was incredible in this game. Dean Kramer gets the start. He doesn't. He goes 5.1 scoreless. 5.1 innings scoreless. 5.1 innings, 7 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, collects 4 strikeouts with a 95 pitch count across 5.1 innings with a 5.02 ERA. So Dean Kramer was actually getting in a lot of trouble early. There was a lot of traffic on those base paths, but Dean Kramer was able to get out of it. He also gets the win in this game, 5.1 innings, 7 hits, 0 runs, 4 strikeouts as well. So he lets eight total base runners on, but doesn't give up a single run. So shout out Dean Kramer for a great game, a very gritty performance from Dean Kramer. He's 4-5 on the season now. His ERA drops to a 5.02. Gregory Soto goes 0.2 innings, has a big bounce back game, gets a strikeout, lets up no hits, no runs, no walks. Keegan Aiken gives up a hit, no runs, no walks. Brian Baker goes 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks. And then Andrew Kittredge comes into the game in the 9th inning to close this out. He goes 1 inning, gives up 2 hits, 1 run, and also gets 2 strikeouts and shuts the door on this win. So another huge win for the Orioles, a 5-1 win. They've won 2 straight games, and they're now heading into their series against St. Louis starting tomorrow. Also, the Orioles do split this series 2-2. And with the way that this series started, with all of the rain, and obviously in the first game of the series being a 19-5 loss, it didn't really look really good for the Orioles. But the fact that they were able to pull out a split series, a 2-2 split series, the fact that they were able to pull that out really shows the fight in this team. Obviously, the weather was a very weird game in terms of the scheduling. Obviously, there was supposed to be a game on Thursday. That game got moved to a doubleheader Friday. The first game got played on Friday. The second game got moved to a doubleheader Saturday, and then both games got played yesterday, and the game got played this morning. So it was just a weird game with all the rain and everything like that. But the rain, obviously, early on in the series, the rain was going crazy, and then it kind of brightened up. Same thing with the Orioles this series. The Orioles at the beginning of the series didn't really play well, but the past 2 games, they really did their thing and got some big wins. And over the past 18 innings, the Orioles pitching has only allowed 2 runs over the last 18 innings. So that's very, very, very good, especially for this Orioles pitching staff. They split the series against the Red Sox 2-2. This was worst case scenario for the Orioles. That's what I was kind of going into the series. I said I want them to win 3 out of 4 minimum, or potentially obviously sweep. But splitting the series 2-2, especially with the start of the series and how it went, I will take that every single day of the week. But moving on to this series that they're starting tomorrow against St. Louis. This game is at 2:05 p.m. tomorrow against St. Louis. We're going back to Baltimore in this game, and the pitcher for the Orioles is undecided. We don't really know who's going to be pitching tomorrow. If I had to guess, it would probably be... let's see actually who we have pitching this upcoming series, because obviously the pitching matchups kind of got messed up a little bit because of all the rescheduling and doubleheader movements and all that stuff going on in the Boston series. So some stuff got messed up. So we don't know who's pitching tomorrow. Tuesday is going to be Tomoyuki Sagano, and then Wednesday is going to be Cade Povich. So tomorrow, if I had to guess, obviously it's not going to be Dean Kramer, not going to be Sagano, not going to be Eflin. So I don't really know who's actually going to be pitching tomorrow, unless we're going to move somebody up. But we'll see what happens with that. Whatever ends up happening tomorrow for the O's, it is going to be whoever the Orioles decide to pitch tomorrow against Eric Fedde. Eric Fedde has been a great pitcher. Obviously, last year he got traded to the Cardinals, and he's been excellent. To be honest, he's been really, really, really good. This season, he's having a very pretty good year. 3-3 record, a 3.77 ERA, 57 innings, 34 strikeouts, 48 hits, and 25 walks. So has really gotten the work in this season with the 57 innings pitched. But the Cardinals are one of the more hot teams in baseball right now. The St. Louis Cardinals are 29-23, obviously compared to the Orioles 18-34. So they have 11 more wins than the Orioles do this season. But the Cardinals have been a team that has been very hot this season. They actually are currently winning right now in the top of the ninth inning over the Diamondbacks. So if they win that game, it'll be their 30th win. I think they went on like an 11 or 12 game winning streak at some point in the season, I think like a week or a week and a half ago. So the Cardinals are a great team. It's going to be a hard opponent, but obviously at this point in the season, the Orioles have to go out and get a series win. This is going to be a 3-game series against the Cardinals. And at this point in the season, again, the Orioles cannot settle to lose a series. They have to go out there and win 2 out of 3 minimum or sweep. That's the only way that they can go. If they really, truly do want to get out of this hole, and I'm just keeping it 100, if they really, truly want to get out of this hole, the Orioles are going to have to go out there and win a series. Like, they're going to have to win series. They can't split the series 2-2. They can't lose a series 2-1 and like avoid getting swept and be happy with that. They have to go out there and win a series, take 2 out of 3, take 3 out of 4, or even sweep those series as well. So the Orioles have a big opponent against the Cardinals, but I do believe that they can do it. Go out there, take 2 out of 3. We are back in Baltimore at home. Got to defend our house, and things will be good with that. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like it, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify. I appreciate all the support that y'all have given me, all the nice comments and everything like that. Obviously, the Orioles get a big win today. They've won 2 in a row, going into a big series against the St. Louis Cardinals starting tomorrow in Baltimore, back at home after this little 7-game road trip. The Orioles, a little bit of a win streak going, 2-game win streak. Hopefully they can continue that starting tomorrow. Again, thank you guys so much for all the support. I wanted to get this episode posted as soon as possible. The game ended literally like 30 seconds after I started recording because I wanted to get this started as soon as possible for you guys. But I appreciate you guys so much again for all the support. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow afternoon with episode 51. I'm having a ton of fun doing the show. So thanks so much again for all the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out.